But we begin here at 6 with new information coming to light in a murder case that's made national headlines.
Yeah, Susie Qs was found dead last month at the Pontiac Lake Recreation Center. 60-year-old Jeffrey Morris was arrested and today formally charged with her murder. Defender Sean Lay live in Pontiac with what we've learned about Morris's criminal history and what happened before the murder. Sean?
And that's one of the key questions. How does a professional poker player who was living in L.A. know a man who was staying temporarily here on this street in Pontiac? Our sources telling us tonight the two met up at a motel the night before the murder. Hours later, Susie Qs' body was found burned in a nearby park.
Calling People versus Jeffrey Bernard Morris.
Jeffrey Bernard Morris, a 60-year-old from Pontiac, arraigned late today. As you can see, Morris is in the hospital after having a medical issue earlier in the day. The charge he is facing, the premeditated murder of Susie Qs. The details, horrifying. July 13th, the 33-year-old's body was found burned at the Pontiac Lake Recreation Center. In court, we learned Morris has a long history of violent crimes.
The court is satisfied that there should not be a bond in this matter. The court is going to deny bond.
Here's what we know. Once Qs' remains were identified, the mystery deepened. Qs was a professional poker player living in L.A. Investigators had to consider if that had anything to do with her murder. Tonight, sources telling the defenders poker likely was not a factor. We are told when life got difficult for Qs, it was common for her to come home to her mother's home in the Waterford area. The night before her remains were found, sources tell us Qs met Jeffrey Morris at an area motel. It's believed Qs' cell records put Morris on investigators' radar. White Lake Township Police and an FBI task force tracked Morris and arrested him last Friday. A husband and wife in Pontiac felt bad for Morris and took him in, but says he was violent, so they kicked him out.
That's sick, man. Sick individual to do something like that to a poor innocent person like that. That's really sick.
He bought a Audi car, the white color car, like 2-3 weeks before he murdered my daughter, and even the title not transferred yet. And the FBI and the police found the car first, the white color car, pass, and it was the neighbor's camera at the time, because I left my home that night around 5:30, and at 7 o'clock. She came to my house to pick up Susie. For some reason, we don't know. They met in the motel, and then we catch up.
He has a previous record, doesn't he?
She has.
Of sexual assault
yes.
or things like that?
That's right. He has been in prison for 2 times. But I guess, I don't know if they catch them in other, murder things or not, because he was not a catch-up by the murder, somebody death, but a sexual was, and then twice in the prison. The longest time was 2 years or something, 3 years something. That was many years ago, and the reason is he was always in Michigan, another state move. So as soon as we're told, as soon as such kind of criminal move out of the state, their records, it's hard for them to follow him, because comes to be the another state police. Mm-hmm. So in that way, they didn't catch him later on. So we don't know if he had other criminal or put people in death or not. But for sure, he had sexual crimes in prison for. I don't know. Yeah.
So how tragic! I can't even imagine an event.
Well, it's right now it's it's gone forever. Daughter is gone. I cannot bring her back. And well, it's a whole lot of hope, and also shut down my passion for life. I don't know what I'm going to do, and it's hard. It's really hard for me to, because right now I only think about I have my parents. He's still in Beijing, okay. 91, 88 years old, still alive, and I have my younger brother in Canada, and my elder brother in China, but passed away illness 6 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
So in that way, I cannot do anything, think about my parents. I even didn't let them know Susie has been gone. I can, maybe immediately get another 2 lives immediately. I just try to watch all the WeChats and medians not let any information back to them, because fortunately they are older, maybe not watching every day of the WeChats. So seems to be they didn't even know yet.
So how long was Susie back in Michigan? Because she had been either in California or was it Las Vegas? Or?
Yes, Vegas. She graduated from Northwestern 2010 or 2009, and then she directly went to California for her poker career. It was almost 10 years, right? And she come back last year.
Okay, so she'd been back for a while.
For 1 year, a little over 1 year. So staying at home, and I want to bring her. She started to have a little depression, anxiety, something like that. And then I think it's time for her to change career, not to play anymore in front, right? Like everyday stress. That's another stress for her. So we are trying to think about change a little bit or switch to different area. So but she was not happy, and then comes to be the coronavirus, and then she stayed in the home. She was an open lady to everybody, to everyone. Didn't even think about any of those how do you say, crying or bad guy behind. So everything is perfect. Everything is friendly. Everything is nice. And everyone she would like to say hello. That's her situation. Oh, I don't know how tragic it is, because right now I just want to survive from my heart feeling things. Just try to switch my attention not to think about her anymore. So that's why my friends come here and say, hey, we'd better, just move on, push me move on.
Yes, well, are you married?
Yeah, I have my husband.
And how has he found to deal with this? And is that her biological father?
No.
Okay.
It's my second marriage. I married like 6 years ago. At that time, Susie already graduated, already started to work in California. So they didn't have any, raising kids, failing each
Sure.
other, be the father, taking care. They don't have that parts until, we just come back and we getting married, and she come back for celebrate our marriage. So that's, she was so happy for me. Of course, she showed a lot of respect to him. His name is Robert.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the way. And then she come back because she started to be, showing some of the depression, anxiety. And then we invite her, and he invited her to stay at home, on his home. I have my home after married. I rent it out and then using his home too, in the same state.
Okay.
Yeah. His response is totally different. So that's why I feel disappointed. I try to survive myself.
So there you have had no support.
Oh, well, he thought he has his support, but I didn't see it. So that's why I don't want to bother. So that's why I be with my friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's important. I mean, you have to have that framework of people around you, because sometimes
That's why.
you can feel so lost, so confused, so frustrated, and so I don't even know which way to turn. Don't know, how do I go forward? And like I said, I can't even imagine. I know when we almost lost Anya and they sent her home to die, even though she was still here, I was so lost of what would I do? What will I do when she's not here anymore? You know, 'cause she is our life too, and so.
Because Anya is your.
No.
That's why I just want to confirm it. 'Cause, you know, I know Meiqi almost 4 or 5 years ago. At that time, I didn't heard about the Boo Boo, right, the Onion, and later on, I saw the picture on the WeChat and taking care of her in the hospital, back and forth, and mention about you. I try to understand this family. At that time, Susie was still good. I say how big the heart is for a daughter, for a human being, right? I was so appreciated, and I try to understand. At that time, I even didn't imagine Susie's, things that happened later on.
Right.
And I felt so shocked. I was so shocked, and then I was told Susie was not her blooded daughter, and not have such kind of feeling as much as for her and to me, whatever things. I say, all right, okay, I understand better now. When really things happened, and I just try to reevaluate the marriage things or the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm still, mostly in the situation of my daughters, not even have the time and the space to think about another side.
Sure.
So the first step for me too is to survive myself, because so many friends, from a long time didn't say hello and come showing to the Susie's funeral, and I thinking, oh my God, so many friends watching me, and so many friends care about me. So many friends are just want me too strong. How can I be making down about from other people, right? So I think probably I should be strong. So that's another way I still be here. And another thing is this at that time, during the first 3 weeks or 4 weeks, we couldn't find of course the FBI group are trying to find the murderer at that time, because seems to be only myself can try to support my daughter to find that guy, and support the system to get him into the system, put in a jail or whatever we can. So that's the only thing I can help my daughter, although he died already. That's another way support me to be alive.
It's okay to be weak. All the feelings you're feeling are right. There's nothing wrong in those feelings. How does a parent not losing a child, and then losing a child in the way that you lost her? The thoughts, the questions, all the what ifs, and this was your only child?
Yes.
Yes.
So one child, one family plan during the 1980s. It's hard. It is hard.
My heart.
Do you have your own child?
I have a son.
A son. How old is he?
38.
38. Getting married, grandsons you have?
No, he's gay. But that took me a long time to kind of come to.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
A record. Yes, I had all my plans for him, but he's a great kid. He works at Costco in Seattle at their corporate headquarters.
Oh,
and he's got a
in
good
Seattle.
career. And he's a very loving, kind, thoughtful man.
Did he marry?
He is not married. He hasn't
Okay.
found the person yet. He lived here up until about 6 years ago. That's when he went out to Seattle to take this job.
Again.
And he said it's just not as welcoming out there as what Minneapolis was. So most of his friends would still be back here, and he'd like to come back someday. just to kind of be back
Oh.
amongst the people
I see.
that, you know, have been his friends for the last 20 years or so.
I see. Well, so right now you understand much better about his situation?
Yes, and you know, I found it unusual that because I worked in the restaurant industry for
Years.
almost 20 years in upper management, but also running restaurants. I was all the same company, and was at Black Angus Restaurants, which they would have out in California. Stuart Anson's Black Angus. I worked for them for 20 years because they were here too. But you know, so we had a number. You know, the staff in the food service industry is as complex and ethnic and of a society itself, right?
I see.
And certainly a lot of gays that work.
Oh yeah, every Thursday night they have a, you know, their happy days. All the whole street of Los Angeles somewhere. Because at that time when I was there, oh my God, the Thursday night they are so happy. The whole street, the gays and the people who are not but invited for the lunch, for the dinner. I mean for the dinner, the whole street. Because at that time my Susie was in California, so I visited her a lot. So she introduced me so many things actually.
Yeah, and you know, that's how I came up, and so I didn't think I had a prejudice against it. And I don't know that prejudice is the right word, because these were my employees, they were my friends, you know. But when my own son came out when he was 21 or 22, I think at the end of the day, because it took me several months to kind of figure it out. I didn't really talk to him at all. But I realized that I was sorry for myself. So I had worries for him in the work world and just that area of society, and you know, that he's going to be safe, he's going to be cautious, and you know.
So is it the reason, the gay reason he moved to California?
Nope. Nope. He said the gay situation in Minneapolis is a lot better than Seattle.
Is that right? Oh,
yeah.
I see.
But you know, I had this vision that he'd get married and I'd have 3 grandkids, and you know, so it was more of what I had planned for him in my own mind that I think at the end of the day I struggled with, because I had my plans for him. He had his own plans, much like God has his own plans. We all think that we have a plan.
Okay, but actually it's not.
But actually it's not. Things don't go the way
No.
that.
Why I'm asking is my husband's son, he has 2 sons.
Okay.
The older son is gay too.
Okay.
And getting married 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
Because since the Obama passed that gay marriage code law, and then they immediately next month they getting married, and they went to Hawaii to have a wedding themselves,
Right.
and they were informed all the relatives in Michigan. Only his aunt, and uncle and aunt saw his pictures from Facebook.
Okay.
And then from that time on, he didn't talk to his father anymore. That's almost 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to my son getting married. And you know, why can't they adopt kids? I can still be a grandfather. You know, it's, you know, in today's world, life,
It's a
relationship,
totally
it's
different.
not blood. You know, blood is important, but blood doesn't create relationships. It doesn't create family, because there's plenty of families out there that are broken and they're blood. Plenty of families like us that are mixed, and I feel we truly have a family, you know, through the hard times and through the good times and the difficult times. So
Where's your tea?
I had a glass of water somewhere, but so I don't find.
Well, that's another. No, blood does not make a family.
It does not.
Okay. All right. That's another. Okay. I never think too much about that part. because that's true though.
You know, my best friends, that I consider, I mean, I love my brothers and sisters and their blood, and we all get along great, but I have brothers and sisters here that...
Like John Denver, right?
Yes.
John Denver with his wife, with his 2 sons, all from different families. But he's still, working so hard because of his wife. He created a lot of good sons.
Right? Yeah, I love these girls as if they were my own. There was never...
Are you a Christian?
I am.
Okay.
And I never once... Are you a Christian too? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're going to bring people into your life, children into your life, I wanted a family, And so to me, it was always, and she and I hit it off so well from the time that she was 6 that I always used to joke that it's like she came from my own belly, because I just have never felt anything but that she is my daughter.
Jeff, I have a question here, Because, since I came here, this kind of, big heart from a Western culture, like your culture, you talk about the blood does not make a family. I heard about this one long time ago. I very much appreciate it and very much worship about this because, I saw a lot of young people at that time, my friends from college, they tried to adopt the Chinese girls many years ago when Chinese started to let the girls go out, right?
Sure.
That was 1990 or after 1990. And at that time I was wondering, only the American people has that big heart to take in other people's kids and to love them so much. And after I get an education from here, and I understand much better, I thought I understand much better about such kind of big heart and big love. But, since my daughter's thing happened, seems to be make me started to doubt something, because from the family situation from him, basically, I started to wondering if I understood before was wrong. Maybe from this individual situation or my situation. I don't know. That day I just talked to Mei Qi about that a little bit, and I felt so disappointed and disrespected from this point of view.
I would too.
So maybe people's different.
Well, people are different.
Yeah, people are different.
And
so
we have a lot of people that have big hearts here, but we also have a lot of cold people. And, I don't know what that answer is because
you don't need an answer, but only things I saw it.
And I don't think you have to be a Christian to have an open heart.
No, nothing with Christian or not. Christian has most good people too, but regular people has good people too. So that's why people were asking you why you are here, why you are not with your husband, who are usually the best one to support you at this so difficult time. And I asked myself too, but I didn't get any. That's why I was pushing out to be with my friends. Continue with your friends who love you, who care about you, and during this time, and leave a space in your heart to forgive him. That's what he wished. Okay, I take it.
Yeah, but I think that we can end up with that disappointment of being in a relationship, whether you're married with that person or not. And I don't know if it's different when you get involved later in life. I mean,
before
or earlier, but
before was seems to be like a perfect marriage.
Sure.
But as soon as something happened, as a shark, and people change. People showed something from the original what he expected from this marriage. So that's probably
Right. And so as we get older, sometimes we don't have to go through the tough experiences of a second marriage. You're not trying to raise the kids, who's changing the diapers, who's washing the dishes, who's all of this that maybe when you're younger you might go through. And and then you learn about that other person once the kids come, and or a job loss or this or that, and as long as everything though was going right with some people, and I know some people like that are good until difficult times, and they don't want to deal with a difficult time. I don't know if they're scared, incapable, if they're not feeling, if they're what it is that causes some people to run from it and others to run to it.
But what do you think about your way? You're just, run toward it, not away from it.
Well, I never thought about running away. I love Mei-Chi. I love Anya, and April had come to live with us by that time from Beijing. This is my family, and then 6 months after we're a family of 4, Anya gets diagnosed. And I was told plenty of times, you can leave, this is not your problem. Well, no, it is my friend, because I've already committed to you. I love you. I love these, you don't walk away from the people you love just because there's a bad situation. You can be yourself. They don't expect you to be